Episode 18 begins at Starlight Mansion. Aja, along with Sheena, Kimber, Jerrica, and the Starlight Girls, are having an intense workout of their own. It's until Jerrica receives some news at the door. So when Jerrica came back, she returns a special letter for her and the girls. According to the letter, there's a battle of the music stars in Hawaii. And what's even better, that the winner will perform at the mansion. So, yep, the good news for the holograms is that they're going to Honolulu. But the holograms soon realize that they're not the only ones. The Misfits are invited there too. Of course, the Misfits that were at the Battle of the Stars buffet, it was Pizzaz's idea to hire Zipper as their personal trainer to cheat. Of course, Roxy at the Misfits had just told Stormer that not to worry, and then they got the plan to make sure that they win. So both the Misfits and the Holograms head off to Honolulu, Hawaii. This is Steve, the one that Kimber had just bumped into to accidentally spill some pineapple juice on his shirt. Of course, Steve had just told Kimber that he too was heading to Hawaii just as the girls did. So now that Kimber and Steve have known each other, they went to their seats as planned. Of course, Asha and Shayna, who overheard Steve talking to Kimber about being their personal trainer, of course you could say the holograms has got themselves a coach too. By the time that the plan landed in Honolulu, the first one out were the holograms, and of course they were presented lace. So the holograms and Steve wasted no time to get to the beach to do their workout. But they're not alone, the Misfits had arrived there. So while the Misfits are busy relaxing, that's where they were approached by Zipper, who's Eric's right hand guy. So Zipper tells the Misfits that he brought some equipment along for the competition that will be held up later. So the first thing that Zipper did was to show Roxy a bicycle that has all the glitches and gizmos. After Roxy seems impressed with it, she takes off with the bicycle. Of course, Zipper tries to stop Roxy, but unfortunately he gets caught in the oil slick trick. Next person to be tested out for the next equipment by Zipper is Pizzazz of the Misfits. So thanks to the spring pole for the pole vault, it landed Pizzazz safe and sound in the palm tree. The last one up is Stormer. And as you can see, Stormer is putting on a special kind of sneakers. Of course, Stormer wasn't sure if it will work, but both Possess and Roxy assured her that they will. Of course, thanks to these super sneakers, it makes Stormer jump up in the air twice. So while that is going on, back with the holograms, Kimber's busy swimming. Everything was going well until Steve said that there's a shark heading her way, or so they thought. That was until, thanks to Steve, who rescued Kimber at the last minute, that's when they realized that shark ain't real, it's mechanical. And the person who's responsible is Eric's right hand guy, Zipper, and the Misfits. And why is that? Because that's part of the plan. Speaking of Zipper, he was looking through his binoculars while the Misfits, however, did what they know best, eating food. And guess what the Misfits were eating? Why, shark, of course. And why is that? Because Zipper said in his case, since the holograms are having shark, so should they. So meanwhile, at the stadium, the very next morning comes the Battle of the Music Stars contest. Oh, Don Lowe still hosted the events, by the way. So, as planned, the bicycle race went as planned, or so we thought. That was until, thanks to Roxy's bag of tricks on her bike, it causes Shannon to have flat tires. So, the pole vaulting event was next, so Jim went up first and she did okay. Pizzazz of the Misfits was up next and she too did alright. Next up is Stormer for the long jump event. And after that, let's just say the Hogwarts are not exactly happy about it while the Misfits, along with Zipper, are cheering each other on. So at the end of the first half of the event, Donlo says that both the Misfits and the Hogwarts are tied 1 point apiece, or 2 points apiece to be exact. So later on that evening, while there's a luau going on, of course they're very traditional in Hawaii, the rest of the holograms are wondering why hasn't Kimber showed up yet? And why isn't she interested? Well, Kimber, however, wouldn't you know it, she's having a moonlight stroll in a chat with Steve. That was until the luau was interrupted by who else? The Misfits, of course, and they did what they know best, performing as usual, and along with their song, We're Misfits in Hawaii. So after the misses of Hawaii song, that's when both Roxy and, of course, Possess are chatting with each other about a plan in mind, as Kimber again has a chat with Steve. So after Kimber has a conversation with Steve, it's now Pizzaz's turn, and that's when he rejected her. After Pizzazz got upset by that rejection, that's when she discusses a plan with Zipper, who's Eric's right-hand guy. So when Zipper demanded from Pizzazz what kind of favor she wants from him, that's when she complained that she tried to talk to Steve, who's the hologram's coach, but he rejected her. However, Zipper pleads his case to say he has many things to worry about, and how Possess can win the swimming contest the next day against Kimber, and told her even if she cheats her away, there's no way she has a chance against Kimber. Meanwhile, Kimber has a chat with Jim while Possess made a suggestion with Zipper to get rid of Kimber after the contest. Then in the meantime, I'll make a move on Steve, Pizzazz suggested. So anyway, Zipper agrees with Pizzaz's suggestion. So while Kimber heads off, while she's doing that, she didn't notice that Giselle and her friend just wanted her autograph. And as they come out from behind the rock, they didn't notice that Zipper, who's Eric's right hand guy, just grabbed her from behind. After Zipper did that, he carries Kimber over his shoulder to take her into the cave inside a volcano where she was bounded and gagged. Things look bad for her. So after Zipper said to Kimber, things are gonna look better if Pizzazz wins that competition tomorrow, and so he left Kimber all alone, and if things couldn't get any worse, the volcano's about to explode. Anyway, as the volcano exploded, back with Steve and of course Jim and of course Kimber's friends are wondering where did Kimber go. That's when thanks to Giselle, who saw what had happened, she told Jim and her bandmates, Kimber's bandmates that is, the bad news that Zipper just took her inside a volcano. And worst of all, Kimber's about to be engulfed by it. So after Jim, Steve, Asha, Shayna have heard what was going on, they knew that there was no time to waste, so they decided to follow Giselle to where Kimber was held hostage inside of the volcano. So thanks to Giselle, good news, Kimber's been rescued by Jim, her bandmates, and Steve. So now all they had to do is get back to the stadium. So Giselle knows what to do. She told them that there's a shortcut there. So they decided to follow her. So back at the stadium, Pizzazz not only finished the swimming contest, although Kimber missed it, so all Kimber and her bandmates need to do is win the tug of war match. So that's what they did. But before the tug of war match was about to begin, Kimber told Steve that Zipper's the one that kidnapped her, so Steve came chasing after him. Luckily, Steve caught Zipper in the act, and luckily both of the bands went to the tug of war match just the way it's planned. And as the both of the bands pulled and pulled and pulled until finally at long last the holograms won by putting the mistress into the mud. And as for Zipper, he gets punched by Steve. So meanwhile, at the police station after Zipper got arrested for kidnapping, that's when he accidentally let slip to tell everyone that the mistress had been cheating. However, it's Possess's turn to plead her case to say that they had absolutely nothing to do with it, the misfits that is, and they denied it. But again, Zipper let slip to say he was the one who did it to help the Misfits won. And on top of that, they cheated in every event that there was. Again, the Misfits tries to frankly deny it. So that's when Pizzazz said to Zipper, "Oh, really? You don't have any proof of this?" But that's when Giselle comes out of nowhere and with the Misfits equipment and says, "Maybe I can help with that." And with the proof of evidence that they did cheat, that's when Don Lowe has no choice but to disqualify the Misfits and give the winning credit to the holograms themselves. So you know what this means. Thanks to Giselle, the holograms not only won, but they earned a luau banquet later that night at Don's house. And what better way to do it was their performance and with a little help from their song, How You Play the Game. After the song came to an end, Don decided to give the trophy to Jim, but Jim decides to give it to Giselle instead because she said that she's the one who deserved most of the credit. And as for Kimber, she continued her chat and her moonlight walk with Steve, and then when Rio shows up later, that's when Jim walks into the moonlight on the beach with him. And so that ends episode 18.